London to Gaza. From London to Jerusalem. Free, free. Will be free.
These are our blinds.
I'm not staying silent.
Violent apartheid.
I'm not staying silent.
Gaza please and guys.
I'm not staying silent.
I'm not staying silent.
I'm not staying silent. I'm not staying silent. I'm not staying silent. I'm not staying silent. I'm not staying silent.
Innocent children dying.
I'm not staying silent.
Israel is dying.
I'm not staying silent.
The BBC is biased.
I'm not staying silent.
I'm not staying silent.
I'm not staying silent. I'm not staying silent. I'm not staying silent. I'm
These
not
are our blinds.
I'm not staying silent.
Violent apartheid.
This country. It's the name when a wealthy few act with absolutely no regard for the people, when their indifference of their class causes death and misery for our class. That name is social murder, and that's what this government has been responsible for during the pandemic. So many have already started with a nice message to Matt Hancock, and I have one to add too. You need to go. You discharge people into care homes without testing. You sent NHS workers to the front line without PPE. You handed out dodgy COVID contracts to your Tory mates, and you spent £37 billion on a privatised test and trace system that doesn't even work. Because you and your government, tens of thousands of disproportionately working class people died who didn't need to die. Matt Hancock, you are responsible. So you need to go.
Organiser, absolutely unbelievable effort, and what an 18 months it has been. We have endured so much. The political class in Westminster have failed us. They inoculate themselves against the pain that we suffer. We will not forgive them, and no, we will not be patient against their political ideology, a belief system which sees exploitation, grotesque levels of inequality, the constant threat of war and destitution as a fair price for the protection of a system which serves them so well and the richest so well. We have run out of patience with their system and with the destruction that they wrought. They willfully look away at the housing crisis, at poverty pay. They've encouraged a system of privatisation and fragmentation of our NHS, taking away more and more of our services. They stoke a despicable nationalistic racism and cultivate culture wars to distract us, to divert our attention and obscure the truth. The truth is, they refuse to serve our interests and they have disdain for our lives. They are shameful, and Boris Johnson, Matt Hancock, Priti Patel, the lot of them have to be forced out of power by a movement. And I have a message for the leader of the opposition. You have to start opposing this government. You need to take our pain, our grief, take the last decade of austerity and all of the destruction that has caused, take the injustice done to
environmental sustainability. I am fearful that COP26 in Glasgow later this year will become an exercise in greenwashed self-aggrandizement before they get into private jets to head off home. The reality is, the poorest people in the poorest countries suffer the worst air quality, the worst quality food, the shortest life expectancies, and the danger of flooding, pandemics, and of course, so-called natural disasters. So we have to be serious about campaigning for environmental justice all over the world as well as in this country. Our health service was founded by people with vision. Vision of healthcare free at the point of use as a human right. The current Secretary of State for Health is only interested in handing out contracts to Serco or other companies, privatising our NHS, and our Prime Minister said to me in December 2019, I was scaremongering when I said American companies would come in and take over our NHS. Well, if I was scaremongering, how come Centene now run a GP practice in my own constituency? I say, get the contractors out of the NHS. Pay the NHS staff the 15% increase they need and deserve. But we as a movement are not just about defending the gains that our predecessors made in health, in education, in housing, and in so many other areas. We're about taking things further forward. A world of peace, a world of justice. And there's a great injustice that happens when you get older. And all of us one day are going to get older. Probably half the people in this square at some point in their lives are going to need social care. I say this to those that are thinking of social care policies. Make social care the equivalent of our NHS and provide it free at the point of need for everybody. If as a country we can afford to create more billionaires during a crisis than have ever been created before, we can afford to tax those billionaires to fund the services that we need for the future. That is what justice is about. That is what justice looks like. And here today, all of us, in all our diversity, are a real strength. We will never allow the Islamophobes, the anti-Semites, the racists, or anybody else to divide us. We are united as a people demanding a fair and just world, demanding a world fit for the next generation, for our children to grow up in. Now, political power comes from lots of places. Yes, of course, there is political power that comes from elected offices. That is absolutely obvious. But those that set out on the road to free education, housing, healthcare, set out in the southern states of the USA on the road to try and achieve democracy, set out in the colonies of the 19th century to achieve independence, or in the 18th to abolish slavery, didn't hold political office. All they held was the ability to unite each other together in a common cause. So it is up to us. Stay together, be together, be strong and active together, and that will give hope to our generation, the next generation, and the generations after that. Stay strong, stay solid. Thank you.